Thank you for tuning in to Utah Cop Watch. Please go subscribe to the Norman Nick Show and the Red Bull Coffee and Crime. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the Mendoza family. They are fighting against corruption, and baby Alex is one of their victims. This is part 2.
So, welcome to the Norman Nick Show. I am Norman, doing the rough scene. You guys are catching me with the internet just turned on, but as promised, we want to make sure that we're showing up on a regular basis as often as possible to make sure that not only is knowledge being told and explained about what's going on in media, and as far as injustice, also, we want to make sure that it's exposed. And if we could do anything about it, try to make it happen. Now, in today's video, for those that are tuning in, I thank you guys for watching. We're going to continue our talk regarding baby Alex and what happened in 2022 as far as the shooting and in regards with Nick, which apparently is his cousin. Now, on this video, I'm not going to go over the whole story once again because we're trying to piece this out little by little. But in this segment, me, Red Bull, and Coffee, we're going to go over what we know so far from what has been sent to us by the attorney with a blessing, and from what we've gathered from the family, and my preliminary background check on Nick and his dumbass old lady, Rhonda, whatever she tries to call herself. I don't know. But either ways, let's dive into the story. Red Bull, Coffee, how are you?
We are good. Yes. I'm doing great. I am cooking, so if you guys hear me yelling, it's because I burnt myself with the oil.
You're good. This makes it organic and authentic. Now, as far as what I've been able to piece together so far and what I've been able to get from the family, I want to make sure that everybody knows why Nick is the hyper focus right now, at least on my part of this investigation from the team. Now, from what I've gathered from the attorney and from the family, as far as pictures and everything else, I really don't want to disclose too much of the pictures, but what I will disclose right now is the news article in regards to what I found out in 2013. So let's check this out right now, or 16, excuse me.
Police are searching for suspects after a shooting in Salt Lake City this morning. It happened at 970 South and 300 West. News specialist Catherine May has been following the story. She joins us live with details from the scene. Catherine.
Yeah, if you take a look behind me and across the street down there, there's still yellow police tape up. And then just down below it on the sidewalk, you can see a couple of bouquets of flowers have been placed on the sidewalk. When police arrived here this morning, they found a body laying there on the sidewalk, and a number of people were running in different directions. I spoke to a man who lives in a house behind that building, and he says someone ran right through his backyard and stashed a gun back there.
The guys jumped the fence right here. Their clothing was still hung on the barbed wire, and they ditched their gun right back behind all this plywood you see right here.
Jeremy Heath woke up to find crime scene investigators scouring his backyard. His roommate actually heard shots fired around 7 a.m.
He heard 3 gunshots, and then he heard a girl screaming.
That's when police received a 911 hang-up call from this area.
And when police arrived, they saw a bunch of people running from the scene. And there was a body on the sidewalk on the west side of 300 West.
Authorities interviewed a number of witnesses.
Police immediately began to run after or go after or find anyone that may have been involved in the incident.
But they're still putting together the pieces of what happened and why. Investigators say the victim is a man who appears to be in his 30s.
Ultimately, early this morning, the victim appears to have been shot in the forehead.
Neighbors say, unfortunately, it's another tragedy in an area that sees a lot of crime.
My grandmother's owned this property for 20 years, and there's just always been problems.
I think it's pretty sad that people have to do things like this and has to be like that.
Well, still no charges in this case, but again, police did recover a handgun. They interviewed a number of people, and they say that they are working some very active leads right now. Now, just a few moments ago, I did speak with a man named Nelson Torres, and he told me that he is the victim's first cousin and that they grew up together. And he issued a statement on behalf of the family. He identified the victim as 28-year-old David Gonzalez, and he said that David was a loyal, loving, and heartfelt individual that will be severely missed and thought of every day by the whole family.
That part. So as far as the article itself and explaining how Nick's, now this is Nick's background. This is even before, baby Alex was what, probably 8 years old at this time or something like that, 9 years old at this time.
Right.
And this guy is out here flashing gang signs at a girl's birthday party, trying to entice a gang member or rival gang member or whatever to come out. Now, that's as far as rules and engagement. And the reason why I can't stand Nick and his stupid old lady, and the reason why I'm taking personal in this, I wouldn't say personal. The reason why I'm taking opinion in this is because when I was younger and semi-affiliated with whatever as far as bad apples, there were rules of engagement where you don't involve mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. You focus on the soldier. You don't involve civilians. And that usually goes for mafia, the military, government. You know what I mean? It's kind of a no-brainer. And this guy seems to me to be, I don't like bullies. That's what it comes down to. I can't stand bullies. And this dude is obviously a bully, and he had to bring his big brother because he can't fight. And he had to bring a gun also because he can't fight. So despite everything, the reason why I'm even more mad is because I received it, and I'm just going to play this. I received this stream via the family in regards to, I believe it was like a TikTok that was put together. I think it was either Sunshine's there's another Mendoza relative. I can't remember which one it was, and I do apologize. There's Sunshine, and I think there was a Sapphire. No, not Sapphire. There was another one.
His sister was it?
But either way, I'm gonna play this stream real quick. But I want you guys. I'm gonna stop it at the end, and I want to focus on the last bit with his old lady, and I want to show where this is where they're into this whole childhood tit for tat. And keep in mind, these people are in their fucking 30s. Watch this. Now, this is the part that I wanted to focus on. This is her right here responding to, why don't you solve this murder regarding, I guess, somebody from their side, Alfredo, aka Troubles or whatever. This is my friend / brother got justice he deserved, and you all know it. Mills wasn't the first your sons killed. You raised him to be a murderer. So, and it goes on where she's talking to the Mendoza family, and somebody responds, why did you guys wait for 8 minutes to call 911 for 911? Your homie could be alive to tell on you and husband. You got immunity to testify. And then, of course, put the clown face. And then Smiley, that's who the other Mendoza was. Smiley, that I believe that's the one who made this post. I can't wait to play your videos, you lame. And then Lexi Marie popped out, period, 100, 100, 100. And then Mendoza family contacted back, clap back again. Ask your friend why they dragged his body. And then I couldn't read the back here, but it said something for the guns or whatever, but and it told her to stay off her post or whatever. But as far as dragging the body, they are absolutely right. And again, I don't want to overshadow what I want to show you guys tomorrow, but there is a slide that I want to show you guys that I actually got, let me see, from the attorney. And it's just a picture I want to show you that I'm going to actually show on my feed tomorrow. Oh, it's not going to let me do it. I'll have to upload it this way. Hold, give me just a second. I'm going to show you this where. Does this look like a slide mark to you? Come on.
That is most definitely a slide mark.
This is where his homeboy, this is where about where baby Alex, you know, where they're saying that homeboy was shot in the back of the head, and then where Nick drug his body. Now, this isn't the 2016, this is what happened recently with baby Alex. So this is a portion of what we're going to talk about with the attorney tomorrow, hopefully, if he can still make it at 1 o'clock. But as far as the team and making sure that we're showing receipts and showing how there are lies being told, immunity being given, and there's parallel cases that are happening that we're going to discuss more tomorrow, hopefully when the attorney comes on, so we can shed light on how the prosecution, the state, the DA, they don't want to take a loss for any means. And they want his credibility in one case, even though he is a known liar, even though he was the one that had the guns. Matter of fact, let me read this article to you real quick and show you what I'm talking about as far as this clown. And then we're going to get into the backgrounds as far as public records of Nick and Rhonda. Now, this right here is the article. Utah man pleads guilty to manslaughter in 2013 shooting death of rival gang member. Now, this is regarding the courts. Donald Orlando Valdez shot and killed 28-year-old David Gonzalez in July of 2013. Now, disclosure. This is an archived article that has been published on sltrib.com in 2015. The information in the article may be outdated. It is provided only for personal research purposes and may not be reprinted. A Utah man accused of shooting and killing a rival gang member in 2013 has pled guilty to reduced charges. Donald Orlando Valdez, 33, pleaded guilty last Friday to second-degree felonies, manslaughter, discharge of a firearm, obstructing justice in the August 31st, 2013 death of David Gonzalez. He was originally charged with first-degree felony murder, but the count was reduced to manslaughter as part of a plea agreement, according to court records. Valdez admitted in documents filed in court that he shot and killed Gonzalez, but that he believed, quote, he was reasonably acting in self-defense, but in circumstances in which he used more force than legally justifiable, end quote. He faces a 1 to 15-year prison sentence for each count. When he is sentenced on March 20th, attorneys have agreed that his prison terms will be served consecutively. Police said that Gonzalez, 28, was at the house near 900 South and 300 West for his sister's birthday party on the day of the shooting. Witnesses told police that Valdez and his brother Nicholas Valdez were flashing hand signs associated with the gang Varro Loco Town. At some point, Nicholas Valdez got into a fistfight with Gonzalez, who was a member of the 21st Street gang, a VLT rival. The fight moved outside at about 6:55 a.m., where Nicholas Valdez allegedly pulled out a silver handgun and fired 2 rounds. A fragment struck one of the bystanders at the party, according to court documents. At some point, Donald Valdez also fired a gun. Gonzalez was struck in the head and died in front of the house. Originally, Nick Valdez was arrested on suspicion of Gonzalez's murder, but investigators later found evidence that linked his brother to the crime. The shell casings that were next to Gonzalez's body matched those from a Glock pistol, which was hidden along with some of Donald Valdez's clothes in a nearby alley. Nicholas Valdez, 29, pleaded guilty to third-degree felonies, discharge of a firearm, and obstructing justice for his role in the crimes, and he was sentenced to 24 months probation. Sorry, I put myself on mute when I was trying to do the article because it was pre-recorded. The article was pre-recorded, so you guys can hear my reading mistakes or whatever. Because I'm not, even though I try to make it look like I'm good and perfect, I can't always do it. So I try to cheat a little bit. But, as far as the article was concerned, if you read between the lines, he pleaded out. Now, the only reason the state will give you a plea agreement on 9 times out of 10 is if there's a lack of evidence and there's a possibility that you may walk away. So what they do is they come to you and they say, hey, we got all this evidence and we're going to put you away for life. But what we want to do is make it easier on the system or whatever. In this case with Nick, we're talking about possible snitch. So they may have a side deal with him regarding another case or whatever. But as far as a plea agreement, it's to make it easier on the state if they don't have a full-fledged case to say, look, in all fairness, we can go to trial and you'll probably get 20 years of life or whatever, but we'll go ahead and plead down to this, this, and this, only because we don't want to spend taxpayers' money. We don't want to call a jury. We have bigger fish to fry, basically. So what that does is give the state a chance not to spend money and not to do their job, and they take a win. They get a win for a plea agreement because that's pleading guilty. So this fucker pleaded guilty to this to cover his brother's ass, even though his brother Knuckles was the antagonist.
See, I just don't. That's insane. It's insane, and this happened a lot from what we've seen, right? And
and as Ray said here, it's all about the win-win-win. It's not about the justice.
Exactly. And then them admitting they're wrong. I mean, they're worried about, they're gonna have to pay off lawsuits, and it's just not fair. I mean, it's not even about the money. It's do your job right.
Correct.
And stop putting innocent people in jail.
Correct.
I wonder if this guy's still running around on the street. Sorry.
I think he is now, and the reason I think he is because of his background. Now, if you look here, we're looking at Nicholas Valdez. This is the clown we're talking about. Now, I'm going to pause this as we go. Now, I don't want to disclose. I'm not going to disclose his address and all that stuff. So we're just going to fast forward here to the criminal stuff. But as far as what we can see here, 2021, felony discharge of a firearm not provided by source. Why wouldn't that be provided by the source? Because he's a snitch and he got immunity. Here's his number, prosecuting agency, more internal numbers, and again, not provided by source as far as the details. Suspicious, huh? So as we go further down, open this up, again, there was no information whatsoever when you look at this. There's you can see he was with the Department of Corrections, but unspecified, not specified, all this stuff that went on. But my system that I use, which I'm not going to disclose the system that I use at this moment because I am trying to negotiate with them as far as trying to work out a deal with them as far as, promoting their products or whatever. But as soon as I do close this deal and let you know, the system that I use is awesome because not only was I able to get past that, but I found they didn't clear out all of the information as far as possible charges, as far as it. So when I went through the list of people that are possibly charged, they didn't clear out this list of could-bes that were on other people's possible records. So connected to this under a different James Valdez, apparently with the same name in the same state, the same charges were put up there, but they weren't scrubbed. So as you can see here, He has interference with public I don't know what SE is. I'm guessing security, unlawful purchase, possession of controlled substance. Now, if you look, he was an inmate while he was in there. So whatever happened while he was an inmate in Salt Lake City while he was incarcerated. The problem that I'm having as far as background checks, and hopefully the attorney can clear that up tomorrow, is if he can actually tell us if the charges that he got in jail for the cannabis or controlled substance or whatever he has was done while he was incarcerated during the first shooting in 2013, or if this was done while he was in trial with baby Alex, dealing with baby Alex's case at first. Because my understanding is there's 2 interrogations, which I talked to the attorney about, and unfortunately he can't give them to me. So if somebody of the family do have those interrogations, please do reach out to me and let me know so I can get them. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do a FOIA request and get them, through public records. But I do plan on showing their interrogation. Now, as far as Tweedledum, let's look at his better half as far as his right hand. This fucking, I can't stand this bitch, Rondi Desrazi, or whatever the fuck her name is. Now, as far as her public records, as far as her, this is all her little family members. And let me be full disclosure. This must, as far as lessons being learned and knowing who I am, and everybody seeing this right now as far as retaliation, Nick, I have all of your family's information. So please do something stupid, because I'll point everybody in every direction, and I'll do a background check, and my crew will do a background check on not just you, but your old lady, and everybody in Utah will do a dragnet. We'll bring everybody in on your side of the family and find out what you guys are really about. And believe me, there are a lot of people all over the world that are really curious right now about who you are and are not impressed with you or your old lady. So back to her dumbass background. Now, as far as her information, you can see here, she really doesn't have anything. But when you get to her criminal record, we're looking at.
And how old is she? I'm just curious.
Huh?
How old is she?
Go ahead. Say one more
can you hear me? Oh, yeah, I said, how old is she? I'm just curious.
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I think she must be around his age. I imagine they went to school together. I mean, they're dipshits.
Yeah, like in her 30s.
I mean, when you think about when you were younger and you saw those type of relationships where wannabe gangsters or wannabe cholas or chicas or whatever, it was always an abusive relationship. She always ended up with a shiner, or he got beat up by her cousin or something like that. At least when I was in Reno,
was in one of those.
Thank you.
I was in one of those.
Not to sound stereotypical, but if you run that life, it ain't like you're Romeo. It ain't like you're Romeo in the sheets and fucking Hercules in the streets. You know what I mean? If you're a dick in the streets causing problems, you're a dick at home causing problems with your family. Point blank.
Yep, exactly.
So as far as her background, you can see here she's got felony charges with a firearm. This was in 2001 regarding that same case. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're talking.
Wait, 2001.
Hold on.
Wasn't the other one in 2013?
Hold on, that's Nicholas. I got the wrong one here. Hold on. All right. So as far as her criminal information here, as you can see, I had the wrong one. Her cases were also scrubbed. Do you see how all these case numbers are on here and you can't see shit?
Right.
So I had to go to possible matches and find out more. So in 2019, she's the only one in that area with that name. So possible matches came up instead. So she got possession of a controlled substance, marijuana, spice. So according to this, usually when it's just marijuana, they'll say cannabis. But when spice is involved, which we know spice is a fucking stupid ass crackhead drug that is compared to marijuana.
Isn't that zombie shit that people, the synthetic?
Yes. So from my understanding, the reason they had to take spice off the market is because it was doing like ecstasy, would eat holes in your brain or whatever and fuck with your spine and all kinds of stupid shit. So she's a spice head. So we know she ain't got no fucking brain cells. She's worse than an alcoholic. And the only reason I know that is because I've been through family court and I know what a spice head looks like.
Yeah, that's just, oh, I can't.
Now, as far as further information, it didn't really go into detail other than to show that it was a count 3. It was back in 2020. She also has shoplifting on here for retail. 2016 is when this was this deposition dated. Criminal trespass, 2011. And the hits just keep on coming. False
Oh my
personal
God.
information with intent to be another actual person. So they gave this. So, like I said, and the attorney's going to point this out tomorrow, and if not, I'll point it out in a video if we can't time down or whatever. But the attorney made a good point, and some of the correspondence that he sent to me, and saying this bitch got immunity, and she refused to testify against her husband for a reason. She is not who she says she is. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of them are fucking are informants for Utah.
Right.
So let's take a pause real quick because I know these comments are piling up here. Let's jump on these comments real quick. We got let's see. Let me take this off here.
I can't even see him. Oh, I can't see him. Okay.
Now I can. So we got hello everybody. I'm just listening to the news clips at the beginning to catch up. Be with y'all in a minute. That was from 6 Cents. That was funny because 6 Cents Amelia got on like before I even went live, and I was trying to figure. I was like, how the fuck did you get in the back end of the studio? And I didn't give you an invite. But apparently, when I put out the live broadcast, it allows comments to be made, you know, on the wait. So,
oh wait, you can. Oh, you can't see them, but you can see the comments. Like she
me,
can
but
see.
you,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but
Okay.
she can comment on it as far as it waiting to go live on the wait. So. But here she is responding again. We got Barbara here. It's sad that there are a lot of people behind bars for crimes that they did not commit. Agree. And then Maria, I guess she's doing a shout out to everybody. And then 6 Cents came back. No, I couldn't see any of your settings up at the beginning of the Norman Nick Show interrogation, but I really wasn't looking either. Laugh out loud. Good. Right on. Because basically, I was just kind of pissing around trying to get everything uploaded so you guys could see it. I could be more streamlined and explaining what was going on. So, but yeah, spice is synthetic pot. You're absolutely right. As far as Reyes says, prayers for the Mendoza family, absolutely. And then Quick Sense or 6 Cents said hello, friends. So as far as trouble and everything else, what we're going to expound upon tomorrow as far as Nick's involvement is him, the 911 call. We're going to go into more on that tomorrow with the attorney. Hopefully we can get him on here at 1 o'clock my time, which right now it's about 3:30.
Hey, wait. I saw a comment. I'm sorry. Who somebody said that they need to get rid of where's that comment
Sal?
at? I think it might have been a
Sal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they need to get rid of Sim Gill off the case. Now, who do you know who Sim Gill is? Because I haven't dug in that far.
Isn't that the prosecutor? Oh wait.
If it is, I'll get to it when I get to Baby Alex's as far as my channel, because I'm trying to basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to climb up the ladder as far as the facts and where I'm going, so I can get full disclosure and show everybody as I work. This is what I'm presenting as I go, so you guys know I'm not hiding anything. And if I have questions, obviously you guys are going to have questions.
You guys, who is Sim Gill?
Rhea says it's the DA. And,
okay, I was about to say the DA. Yeah.
So, yeah. So as far as it says here, Sunshine Mendoza said he's the district attorney on the case. So he's the head attorney basically that's running the shit, that doesn't want to take the L, that has all the information or the secrets of why Nick and his
that's what I meant.
fucking.
I actually have a picture of him that I'm gonna send you, so you can look him up, because I got a picture of him and I forgot.
Oh yeah, well I'll definitely be bringing it up in a future video when I do a deeper dive as far as the political connection into this, you know, as far as the judicial system. Because I met.
Yeah, because
every
the
time you're
article
dealing.
the other day. Oh, sorry.
Well, the reason I'm going to bring this up in that political light on my end is because usually when you're dealing with DAs and attorneys, usually they're not just attorneys for the sake of being attorneys. Usually these are political attorneys that have aspirations to be voted in to be a mayor, or to go further in their career as far as power and being able to control the masses. So usually when somebody like a judge, a political judge, gets a taste of their local control that they have, whether it's family court or criminal court or whatever, they have aspirations to further their career, so they'll try to go into politics or whatever. What were you
Because
saying?
oh no, the article the other day that I had found, where I forgot the year, wasn't it 2021, where they were going through all the wrongful convictions, or we can bring that up on another one, but there were so many, and I don't know if you read it. You remember the article one?
I didn't get in, like I said, because I'm working in segments as far as us trying to delegate our responsibilities, because this is a big case to work on, and if I was working on it by myself, this would be a month-long project.
Too much.
Yeah, too much. So, but as far as making sure that we have all the details.
Well, it just has to do with the political stuff, and it would be good to bring up here.
Well, yeah, because there's always a rhyme and a reason. There's always a rhyme and reason, because let's say, just for example, let's just say for sake of argument that the DA has aspirations to become a political figure in the future. If he takes an L now, as far as a loss, it could be used against him in his campaign from his opponent. So right now he can run and say, well, I have a 95, 90, 100%, conviction rate or whatever, with my time as DA. Imagine what I'm going to do when I get into political office and I clean up the streets with more authority. So basically what he's doing is he's begging the people to vote him in for more power. Once he gets that power, that's a whole different story of what he plans to do with it. Just like all of our politicians now, we trust them to give them power, and then they flip on us and, try to ban and tell women what to do. Whatever. So, but as far as so far with the story so far, what do you ladies think as far as my end, what's going on?
I find it very interesting that that everything that they've
well, what I'm curious to see is what Alex's attorney has to say when we get him on the podcast. Is if he, because I don't expect him to expound on it, as far as his opinions, because he has to work with these clowns,
exactly
the cases. But I do want to ask him questions, and if he doesn't answer, I kind of want to see his body language and voice inflection or whatever to see, saying, "Oh, I can't, I don't."
Yeah, right. I'm definitely excited for that. I am so ready. I want to hear what he has to say, because he has been his lawyer for this whole time. At first, I thought it was a different one, but that was his, I guess, probation officer, which he has nothing but good things to say about him. So
the one we were discussing earlier, because we were trying to find out if, that's right. Yeah, so I couldn't find, and to tell you the truth, because Alex, just and to expound forward on Alex, what little bit I've been able to do so far as Alex, I haven't pulled his, well, actually, no lie, I did pull Alex's public record, and he's invisible because he got busted so young. He has no finances, property, nothing like that to show for. It does show that there is there's an attachment to it, because there's junior and senior or whatever. There is an attachment to his father's online, but as far as like their criminal record, it labels specifically the father's birthday, so you can tell which Mendoza it is as far as the criminality. The other thing that was disturbing to me, disturbing as a, and I'm not trying to take pop shots at the Mendoza family because I come from a different breed, you know, I'm a military family. But what I found disturbing is as far as my perception of lineage, you know, as far as like whether you want to call it ignorance breeding ignorance or gifting knowledge in the streets to protect where you live to your son or whatever. But I was never in an official gang, or I was never in that lifestyle as far as like a mafioso type thing where my father had a legacy before me as far as bad apples or whatever, however you want to perceive it. So what was disturbing to me, long story short, was the father and the son having the same, you know, West Side tattoos on their necks. And being somebody of a different caliber, even if I was on the jury, and from what I'm understanding from the family, you know, just trying to be neutral and not trying to show favoritism, even though I'm team Mendoza. But as far as walking the middle line, I can see where it would be a little disturbing to somebody on the jury to be confused about who the worst is, you know, as far as on site, you know, because you do see the facial tattoos, you see the neck tattoos, and then you hear everybody talking and you're like, okay, he has more facial tattoos than Nick does. And they're saying Nick didn't do it. And then on top of that, the DA made the police come into the courtroom like it was going to be some kind of Trump rally, and you know, January 6th was going to happen. So of course the jury is going to be biased, thinking, you know what I mean? So that's something else.
Utah Cop Watch, who's in the comments, he was actually there that day.
Really?
I think
we may need to touch with him, and yeah, I'm missing these comments here. Yeah, we may need to touch base with him and get him on the podcast too, and have him help us out as far as I'm not saying make him part of the team necessarily, but put him through the trial, like kind of like what I did with you, Red Bull, and see what he can bring to the table, and see if we can work with him on future projects. Because I am very interested.
Because I didn't even know. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's him. If Sunshine told me that he was there that day and he recorded, but it was basically they were acting like it was the freaking cartel, like the jurors were scared, like just ridiculous, you know.
And that would be a tactic the DA would use. But if the attorney has that power, what I would do in this new trial that they're planning on doing or whatever, I would make sure that game cannot, or that chess piece is taken off the table before, so they can't pull that shit again.
Yeah.
And I would recommend, and this is not legal advice, but if it was my family, anybody who was gang related would just have to watch from outside. I wouldn't let them into the courtroom, even though they're my cousin.
Well, they couldn't. I think Sunshine also said that they wouldn't let them in the courtroom, if I'm not mistaken either. It was in the last video.
Well, not just the courtroom itself. I wouldn't even let them in the courthouse, because them showing up to the steps is what's antagonizing the DA to make his move. So if I was and again, advice, not legal advice, but if it was me going through this, I would take reins and say, look, everybody with fucking facial tattoos, get the fuck out of here, go home. You're not helping the case. Even if you are supporting, I don't give a fuck if you posted 1 million TikToks, you know, helping us out. Right now, your optics is what's important. And right now, your position is not what's going to help the situation. Even though your position is appreciated, you can't be in the courtroom or at the courthouse because it looks antagonistic when you guys show up with stone cold faces and tattoos.
Right.
Oh yeah, Utah Cop Watch said, yep, the police department and DA made seem that the whole court was in danger because of the Mendoza family.
Exactly. So optics. So lessons learned, you know, and there's never losses. There's always lessons. We're all breathing. You know what I mean? And rest in peace to everybody that we're talking about in this story that are victims of these crimes. But as far as baby Alex, I've looked at everything and I've talked to his attorney more or less, and with the family and with Red Bull and Coffee as far as their background. I'm convinced that there's some shenanigans that, you know, to quote Joe Biden, there's some weird going on here. You know, this is malarkey.
Right.
This is malarkey. I mean, it's plain as day to see that they got immunity because there was something else going on, because why would you give immunity to somebody who was involved in the shot? And again, we'll go over this tomorrow with the attorney, but how the fuck did he get shot in the back of the head if he was shooting towards Alex in the street?
And how is that not a drag mark? So, I mean, are they just, and all the rash, the skid marks on his back, and it all just matches together. Ugh.
We'll do a deeper dive into it tomorrow as far as that is concerned. But
because I'll
with
go
that
all
being
night
said,
about this. We'll just keep ranting.
no worries, right? I love you. I agree. Thanks for agreeing with me. As far as the content is concerned, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I just wanted to go live to give everybody an update saying that we are still working on this, whether the internet is on or not in our areas or whatever. As a team, we're all still in contact with each other working on this. So don't think that we're giving up on the Mendoza family or anything like that. As far as any information that will be helpful that we do not know about, any videos that you friends may know about or whatever, or witnesses that were not able to go to court or because of facial tattoos, the attorney did not want to use their testimony because of possible credibility. I have no problem listening to their story. There's no judgment here. Just know that we look for receipts when we bring them on. So if you are going to be on the podcast, make sure that if you are going to talk about it, be about it. Make sure you have the videos, receipts to prove what you're talking about. If you were there firsthand, we have to take your word for it if you do want to come on the podcast and explain what happened. But as far as what we're trying to do, again, as we work through this with the attorney, I'm trying to get a hold of the interrogation tapes from Nick and Rondi, so we can see exactly what they said and the reason why they got immunity. So look for that video in the future. Red Bull Coffee, is there anything that you wanted to say before we go?
No, thank you, Sunshine. And wait, I want to read this comment. Baby Alex was a son who looked up to his father. Yes, the tattoos and gang was appealing. However, he is still a kid in a different category. He is also kind, respectful, and not a killer.
I agree. And again, judging by somebody's appearance is just as evil as somebody judging somebody because they're gay or because they're
Absolutely.
or because they're black.
And that's
whatever.
not what Norman, like, we don't want you guys to think that's what Norman was saying, but he's giving like the, good advice because he's thinking from these other people's perspective. Like they see these people walk in and I mean, I'm all tatted up. I'm tatted on my neck. I'm tatted on my hands. I'm tatted, So
I got it all over my chest and back too. I'm tatted up too. So, but
yeah, so we don't want you guys to think he said anything like that, but the advice I totally agree with,
Right. Because especially in the courtroom setting, it is all about looks. It's all about how you present yourself and we can't open people's minds.
Exactly.
They're going to be as closed as they want to be, and that's sad, but it's also true.
correct.
You need those free resources, whether they're paid or not. You want to find out about vlogs and tutorials about success and lessons, DIY choices, background checks, states' rights on recordings, false restraining orders, how to deal with CPS claims. Go to www.thenormannickshow.com for free information regarding parental rights. All I need is a name, address, phone number, or email, and I can get you a background check of public records within 30 minutes to your email. If you're beyond the intermediate stage as far as your court, there are paid services that you could use, such as audio enhancement, video editing, stuff that you may need as far as advice to go to court, all explained on the website as you maneuver through the information that pertains just to you. With that being said, it's your boy Norm. I'll see you in another video.
And then
Exactly.
as far as like I said, any facts or anybody who wants to contribute with the story, come on the podcast, hit me up. As far as anybody taking offense to what I said, I do apologize. I'm not trying to piss people off, well, there are some people I'm trying to piss off, but as far as the Mendoza family,
No, I don't think anyone was
my
pissed off.
intentions are not to piss you guys off, but my intentions are to be direct and real with you, as far as tough love, because like I said, I don't live in Utah and I am cut from a different cloth, but I still am concerned and have empathy for what you guys are going through. So you could take my advice, legal advice, not legal advice, whatever, with a grain of salt. But I just want to make sure that justice is done and Alex is able to be released and actually show who he really is as far as moving forward with his daughter. One father to another.
Exactly.
So with that being said, it's your boy Norm. We're going to see you guys in another video.
Have a good night.
Bye.